Welcome to Oh My Gosh Stories, where the shadows whisper and the truth is stranger than fiction. These aren't just stories. They're real encounters, chilling confessions, and dark secrets that were never meant to be told. Turn off the lights, plug in your headphones, and prepare to ask yourself, was that just the wind or something else? Driving for Uber might seem like a simple job. Pick people up, drop them off, repeat. But when the sun goes down and the streets grow quiet, some rides turn into something else entirely. These are 5 terrifying true accounts from Uber drivers who picked up passengers they'll love never forget, and some they wish they never met at all. They started as just another fare and ended in nightmares. Story 1. She never opened the door. I've been driving Uber part-time for 3 years. Nights usually bring in the weirdest passengers, drunk college kids, awkward dates, sometimes even total silence. But nothing ever really scared me. Until that night in early November. It was a cold Thursday, just after midnight. I was parked near an old gas station on the edge of town when a ride pinged in. The pickup was a few miles out, past the last stretch of suburban homes, and into a wooded road I'd never seen on my map before. No big deal. I've done back roads plenty of times. The name on the request was Lena, female, 5-star rating. She even left a note. Please don't honk. I'll be waiting outside. When I arrived, there was no house. Just trees and a narrow dirt path leading into darkness. The pin on the GPS hovered right at the entrance. I stopped the car, turned on my hazard lights, and waited. Then I saw her. She stood just beyond my headlights, a woman in a white hoodie, hands at her sides, head slightly tilted. I waved. She didn't move, just stared. I unlocked the door and called out, "Hey Lena, are you my ride?" She nodded slowly and stepped forward, but something felt off. Her movements were strange, jerky, like she hadn't walked in years. When she reached the door, she didn't open it. Just stood there, staring through the window. "Do you want to get in?" I asked, leaning over to push the door open manually. No response. She took a step back, looked at the woods behind her, then turned and walked back into the darkness. I sat there confused, engine idling, until my app pinged. Passenger no show. Cancel ride? I hit cancel. As I turned the car around, I glanced at my rearview mirror and saw her again, standing right in the middle of the road, perfectly still. Closer this time, her face was completely blank, no expression, no movement. I drove off faster than I should have. My heart was pounding. That wasn't a prank. That wasn't normal. The next day, I checked the map again. No homes, no buildings, just empty land. I tried to report the ride to Uber, but all I got was a canned response. Later that week, curiosity got the better of me. I searched for anything related to that area. I found an article. Young woman found dead on County Road 9, November 2nd, 2017. Her name was Lena. She was killed by a hit-and-run driver. They said she was trying to get help. She died before anyone found her. The weirdest part? I picked up that ride exactly 5 years to the day after her death. Story 2. The Man Who Never Spoke. I work nights in Chicago. Usually, it's a smooth gig. I know which alleys to avoid, where the drunk guys tip best, and which neighborhoods to skip after 2 a.m. But this night was different. It was a little after 1:30 a.m. when I picked up a ride from a sketchy part of the South Side. The request came in with no profile picture and just the letter D as the name. No rating, no notes. Just an address 25 minutes away, straight down Lake Shore Drive. I pulled up to the pin, an old motel that looked like it hadn't been updated since the 70s. Flickering neon sign, rusted out windows. One light on in the far corner. The guy was already waiting outside. Tall, thin, face hidden under the shadow of a hoodie. He didn't say a word, just got in the back seat behind me and shut the door softly. "Hey there," I said, trying to keep it casual. "Heading home?" No answer. "All right," I said, starting the drive. The first few minutes were quiet. Just the hum of the car and the occasional rattle from the back when I hit a bump. I glanced in the mirror. He was sitting dead still, hands on his knees, staring straight ahead. Every now and then, I'd look again, and he'd be staring right at me through the rear view. Not blinking, not smiling, just watching. About 10 minutes in, I cleared my throat. "You okay, man?" Still nothing. Then I heard it, not from him, but from his direction. A soft scratching sound, like nails on fabric. I kept my eyes on the road, but my pulse was rising. The sound got louder. I could feel him shifting in the seat, not moving around, just ... twitching. I forced a laugh. "You need me to pull over?" Still nothing. The destination was a rundown apartment building off Wabash. We pulled up, and he just sat there. Didn't reach for the door. Didn't say a word. I turned around to face him, and my blood froze. His face. It wasn't angry or threatening. It was blank, unnaturally still, like it wasn't even real. His skin looked off, like wax, like a mask that hadn't fully set. That's when he finally moved, slowly lifting one hand, pointing toward the building. Then he smiled, but it wasn't a smile of thanks. It was empty, too wide, too many teeth. He got out without a word and walked toward the building. I watched him until he disappeared into the shadows of the entryway. I left fast, didn't even wait to mark the ride complete. When I checked the trip history the next morning, it was gone. No record of the ride, no fare, no user under D. Nothing. I called Uber support. The guy on the phone put me on hold, then came back and asked if I was sure the ride happened. He said there was no trace of it on their end. I remember the exact words he used. "Sometimes the system glitches." Or maybe it wasn't an Uber ride. I haven't driven nights since. Story 3. The girl in the middle of the road. I drive Uber in a small town in Ohio. Not much excitement here. Just bar pickups and the occasional late-night drive from the train station. That night, it was almost 2 a.m., and I was ready to call it. I was heading home down Route 57, a 2-lane country road that cuts through miles of woods. No streetlights, no houses. Just black trees on both sides and the narrow white lines glowing under my headlights. Then I saw her. A girl, standing dead center in the road, wearing a long white dress. I slammed the brakes. The tires screeched, and the car came to a stop just a few feet away from her. She didn't flinch. She looked to be about 19 or 20, pale, soaking wet, like she'd been out in the rain, but it hadn't rained that night. Her long hair clung to her face. Her eyes were wide open, but unfocused. I rolled down my window. "Hey, are you okay?" She didn't answer. Just slowly turned her head toward me. I wasn't about to leave a girl alone in the middle of nowhere. I offered her a ride, and after a long pause, she nodded once and got in the back seat. We drove in silence. She smelled like damp leaves and iron. The temperature in the car dropped. I cranked the heat, but it didn't help. "What's your name?" I asked. Still nothing. I looked in the mirror. She wasn't looking at me, just staring out the window, whispering something I couldn't quite hear. I leaned in a little. "Sorry, what?" This time I heard it. "You shouldn't have stopped." I felt a chill run down my spine. I tried to stay calm. "Where are you headed?" She finally looked at me through the mirror. "Home." I asked for the address. She gave one. It was a street about 10 minutes back, near the edge of town. Quiet suburb. When I pulled up to the house, it was dark, no lights. No cars in the driveway. Looked abandoned. "You sure this is it?" I asked. She just opened the door and stepped out. I watched her walk up the cracked path toward the porch. She didn't look back. As she reached the door, I looked away to end the ride. When I looked up again, she was gone. I sat there in disbelief. There was nowhere she could have gone. I checked the yard, the porch, nothing. Like she had vanished. I drove off, heart racing. The next day, the house still bothered me, so I did something stupid. I looked it up. Turns out, a girl had died on that stretch of road almost exactly 3 years ago to the day, hit by a car, left in the middle of the night. She lived at the house I dropped her at. I checked my dashcam footage, just static during the entire ride. No image, no audio, just a quiet hum, like breathing. Story 4. The repeated ride request. I've been an Uber driver for 4 years now. I work mostly nights because that is when the money is good and the roads are empty. But one ride, just one, almost made me quit for good. It started with a ping just after midnight. Pickup was in an older part of the city near the industrial district. Not the best area, but not the worst either. I accepted and headed out. As I pulled up to the pickup spot, an old, crumbling warehouse with flickering lights. No one was there. I waited a few minutes, nothing. Then, the request suddenly canceled. Weird. 5 minutes later, I got another request, same location. I accepted again, thinking maybe they hit cancel by mistake. I pulled up, still no one. I waited. Canceled again. Now I was irritated. I started driving away when, ping, the same request came in a third time. Same spot. I was about to reject it when I noticed the name. It said, unknown, no profile picture, just a blank silhouette. The app said they had no previous trips. Curious and a little creeped out, I accepted it one last time and drove back. This time there was someone. A man, standing perfectly still in the shadows near the warehouse entrance. He wore a dark hoodie, hood up, hands in his pockets. I couldn't see his face. I rolled down the window and called out, "You order an Uber?" No answer. He slowly walked to the passenger door. But instead of getting in, he leaned in and said, "Take me home." "Sure. Where to?" He mumbled an address. It was about 15 minutes away, an older residential area. I put it in the GPS. The whole ride, he sat in silence. Not a word, not a movement. I couldn't even hear him breathing. The streetlights seemed dimmer than usual that night. My headlights barely cut through the dark. Every time I glanced at the mirror, he was sitting straight up, head tilted slightly like he was studying the back of my neck. I tried to make conversation, just to break the tension. "Long night? No answer. You live near here?" Nothing. I gave up. We pulled into the neighborhood, and I immediately got a bad feeling. The houses were old, boarded up or empty. No lights on anywhere, just rundown porches and wind blowing through dead leaves. "This the place?" I asked. He didn't respond, just slowly reached for the door handle and stepped out. Then, without looking back, he said, "Thanks for the ride. I'll see you again." And he disappeared into the dark between two houses. I watched for a second, then drove off fast. The whole thing felt wrong. The next night around the same time, I got a ping. Same spot, same name, unknown. I rejected it. Then, it came again, and again. For 3 nights in a row, the same ride request popped up. Same name, same warehouse. I never accepted it again. Weeks later, I met another driver at a gas station. We got to talking. I mentioned the area and asked if he'd ever gotten a weird ride request near the old warehouse. His face went pale. "You mean the one where the guy never speaks?" "Yeah, did you pick him up?" He nodded slowly. He asked me to take him to a house, but when I got there, it had burned down. 20 years ago. Story 5. Repeat rider. I've been driving Uber full-time for the past 3 years. I've had my fair share of weirdos, drunk passengers, even a guy who tried to light a cigarette in the back seat while I was doing 60 on the highway. But nothing compares to what started happening about 6 months ago. It was a Wednesday night, around 1:30 a.m. I usually shut off the app by then, but I decided to take one last ride before heading home. I got a ping from a rider named Evan, pickup on the edge of town not far. but close to a wooded area that never sits well with me, especially at night. I pulled up to the location. It was one of those older houses with rotting wood siding, broken shutters, and not a single light on inside. Still, I waited. I sent a message through the app. "Hey, I'm outside." No reply. After 5 minutes, I hit the no-show option and drove off. I didn't think much of it. Happens sometimes. But then, the next night, same thing. Same name. Same house. Same time. It was weird, but I figured maybe he just messed up the timing. I went again. Same result. No one came out. Third night. Same. By the fourth night, I was getting annoyed. I told myself I wouldn't go if I got the request again. But I did. And for some reason, I went. This time when I pulled up, my headlights caught something or someone in the window of the upstairs room. It was just a shape. Like someone standing behind the curtain, not moving, no lights on, just there. I got this feeling in my stomach. You know that kind of crawling sensation when your instincts know something is off before your brain does? I backed out of the driveway and left fast. That night, I couldn't sleep. Around 3:20 a.m., I got another ping on my phone. Evan again. Except this time, the pickup wasn't the house, it was my house. I stared at the screen, frozen, my hands went cold. The request canceled itself in 15 seconds. I reported it to Uber, said it was a privacy violation or a possible glitch. They said the account was already flagged for unusual activity, and they'd look into it. That was supposed to be the end of it. But 2 weeks later, on a night I wasn't even working, I heard my phone buzz. I didn't even check it at first. Then I noticed it lit up the same way. Rider, Evan pickup, unknown location time, now. This time the screen glitched. The map went black and flashed white letters. "I've been waiting for you to notice me." I dropped my phone. I swear I almost threw it across the room. The next morning, I deleted the app. I thought that would stop it. But then weird things started happening in my car. The back seatbelt alarm would go off, even when no one was sitting there. The rear view mirror would tilt downward, like someone was ducking in the back. Once, I swear I heard breathing behind me while I was parked. One night, a week after deleting the app, I checked my dashcam footage. From 1:31 a.m. to 1:41 a.m. minus 10 full minutes of footage. It shows the inside of my empty car, just sitting idle in the driveway, but at the 6-minute mark, there was a man in the back seat. Pale skin, no eyes, just dark, empty sockets. He wasn't moving, just staring at the camera. Then at the 9:59 mark, just 1 second before the clip ended, he smiled. I haven't driven Uber since. I moved to a different city, changed my number, new phone, new car. But sometimes late at night, when I park near quiet streets, my GPS reroutes on its own. It shows one destination, that old house. And for just a second, the name Evan pops up on the screen. I don't sleep much anymore. And I never ever look in the rearview mirror after midnight. If this story gave you chills, you're not alone. Subscribe to Oh My Gosh Stories for more terrifying tales every week. Drop a comment below. What would you do if this happened to you? Until next time, stay safe, stay alert, and don't turn around.